Hey, it's Greg here with MaritimeGardening.com, and just out in the garden at the last hour of light of the day, and I thought I'd show you something I was trying out this year for the first time. Well, not necessarily for the first time, successfully for the first time, so let me show you here. So a friend of mine planted some winter rye this year, and he had some left over, and he gave me the seeds. And I've tried winter rye before, and I actually haven't been able to get it to grow, but he just gave it to me, so I thought, what the heck, right? So I spread it around here. Didn't do too much. I mean, it basically leveled the soil. I spread it all over by hand, just like you're feeding chickens. And I just tamped it down with the rake. And then I put, because it was, I mean, we had some warm days since then. These have been in the ground for about a month, I'd say. I would say I sowed them early October, I guess, right? End of September, early October. I'd say about a month they've been in the ground. They're about 6 inches high. Now these ones, and you guys have seen my plastic squares before, just a plastic rectangle, a wooden rectangle with 6mm polyethylene plastic attached to it. I put those over top just to get things to germinate because, we've had some warm days since then, but it was getting down to 0 some nights. So this one germinated just great. And the idea with this is that it's what they call like a green manure. So I don't know if I'm not sure if winter rye pulls nitrogen out of the air in the same fashion that clover does, but at the very least it's basically, this it's definitely storing nitrogen in its body, right? And by putting roots in the ground, you're preventing some degree of soil erosion. So the idea is that this functions like a mulch. I'll show where else I planted. I had enough to do 3 beds, so I also planted some in this bed, and I've still got the plastic on this one here, so that's really growing. I just decided to leave it on and see how big it could get, right? So yeah, that's going really good. And I planted some in this bed. Now this one here, I just had like loose plastic, so just like a piece of polyethylene plastic, and I just weighted it down with rocks. And I came out like the next day and it was all gone. You can see holes. See this hole? Hole. That's from chipmunks or voles, some sort of rodent. So within one night, some rodent came in and took all of them. I mean, clearly the seeds were viable. Look at the germination. But literally literally something came in here and took every single thing. I'm guessing it was chipmunks because they are like that, right? All of them. I'm just lucky enough that they didn't find their way like to the other beds. Otherwise, I'm sure they wouldn't have left a thing for me, right? So it was either voles or chipmunks. My money's on chipmunks. It wasn't birds because it was covered, right? So the birds wouldn't get under it like that. I also don't find birds to take everything the way chipmunks do. Even chipmunks more than voles. Chipmunks seem to take everything. Anyway, I've never used this stuff before because I've never been able to get it to grow. Every time I've planted it, it's just all disappeared, right? But I actually got this to grow. Now, one of the catches with this and why I don't like it is that it's my understanding in the spring you have to till it all in, which I don't want to have to do that work. But my idea for this application anyway is that next spring I'll just cover this all with leaf bag or cardboard, something like that, right? I'll just smother it out, and I can't remember what I'm planting here, but I'll either put cardboard on here as soon as things thaw and just leave it like that and plant like maybe potatoes in late June, right? So just basically let 1 month completely covered will kill most things that are in early spring seeking light. It won't die if you don't kill it somehow, right? That's why people till it in. It's my understanding anyway. It has to be killed. So tilling it in is one way, but it's for all the good you're doing by tilling in this green manure, you're basically releasing a lot of your nitrogen in your soil by tilling it up. So I'm more inclined to just smother it out with cardboard or leaf bags and either wait for everything to be completely dead, or just plant I could cut holes in the cardboard and plant tomatoes, cut holes in the cardboard and plant winter squash, right? Basically have it all covered, but where I've got things planted, I actually just cut little holes in and plug that in, right? Or I do as I've done before, where I make strips, right? Where I would kill off, you know, just light hoeing a line and just smother everything else out, right? Or for planting potatoes, right? Where I would just stick the potatoes in the ground and cover the whole thing with, like, you know, 6 inches of leaves, or maybe 8 to 9 inches of straw or hay, right? That should be enough to smother out that level mulch. 6 inches of leaves will smother out any grass, right? But potatoes can push up through it, right? So I haven't decided how I'm going to deal with that, but I think that's preferable to just tilling the whole thing up. I mean, especially where I don't have a tiller, I'd have to hand use a hoe or something like that, right? That doesn't appeal to me. So that's my workaround for the winter rye. I thought I'd share that idea with you, just out here doing a little bit of late work in the garden. But yeah, so we're going to give the old winter rye a try and see how it goes. It seems to have slowed down a lot because it's really cold today. I can barely actually have a glove on my other hand that I'm holding the camera with, because well, it feels like it's close to 0 today. So it's just getting cold. Winter's upon us. I'll have a garden tour soon. Stay tuned for that. See you in the next video. If you want to help support the channel and everything I'm doing here, buy your seeds and gardening supplies at Bessies.com using my coupon code GAVS22, or become a paid subscriber to my weekly column at maritimegardening.substack.com. It's $5 a month or $30 a year. It's all about gardening and a little bit about cooking, and I pump out a new article every Tuesday morning. And as a bonus for subscribing, every time I get 100 new paid subscribers, I will randomly choose one lucky winner to receive a $100 gift certificate at the online garden store of their choice. So maybe give one of those things a try. It'll help out a lot. Thanks and happy gardening.